Hey, good morning. This is Joshua Seiler. Actually, going to talk a little bit about my final project here for our cultural communications class. This was a fun one. I chose to do mine on Ireland. I know that's not a huge cultural difference from the United States. Obviously, here in America, lots of Irish immigrants and things like that. But I chose to do this one because my wife and I we intend for Ireland to be our first trip together out of the country. We're going to do that for our 20th anniversary, and that's 3 years from now. So we'll start saving this year, and we're going to put that together. And I just thought it'd be neat to try to tie all that in together and learn a little bit before I get there. But just a quick overview of some of the cultural differences or some similarities as well. Irish Gaelic, alongside with English, are the major languages of Ireland. Obviously, English being the most common, but in Ireland, how you speak, how you present yourself is how people are going to make their assumptions of who you are. For sure, it says a lot about a person. The tones they use, the volume they choose to use in their voice, and things like that. It's not uncommon for the Irish to use profanity just in everyday conversation. Thought that was pretty funny. Kind of reminded me a bit about my mom. My mother used a lot of profanity just in everyday conversation, and it was not ill intended. It was just how she was. I think her father was that way. So the Irish are funny, and they use humor quite a bit for different purposes, to settle things down if they're in a situation where they're uncomfortable, or to get to know people. Humor is just something that is commonly used, and I like that. I try to do the same thing. I find myself doing that. Try to ease the tension with a little laugh or something like that. Non-verbally, they don't show a great deal of affection in public. It's something that they're not comfortable with. Men, especially, more than women. Everybody likes their personal space in Ireland, so. And they're gonna avoid invading someone's personal space. Like it's rude, so you don't want to get too close and get into that personal bubble. Some of the business and work aspects are part of the environment you would find is business meetings are formal for the most part. You're going to refer to your boss with their title, or the leaders of the businesses with their title. It's just a formal way to do it. And I read that meetings would end with small talk, where people would get to know one another. And it's been my experience in past businesses that we would start our meetings with small talk. Here in the United States, we'd take half an hour and roam around and get to know one another. So you kind of had an idea of who was making their presentations or who was talking during a business meeting. You had an idea of that person before they got going. They do it opposite in Ireland. And participation is expected. It's something that at a business meeting, everyone's going to have their chance to talk. Everyone's expected to talk before any decisions are made. They want to hear everyone's opinion, and they're going to value everyone's opinion. I liked that very much. So the family situations, extended families, they all used to live together in Ireland, and that's less and less common now as time has progressed. But family is very important to the Irish culture. Children are taught to be independent and will typically leave home around 18. So that's something that we find more and more kids living in the basement with their parents here at home. They're teaching them to take care of themselves, and they're pushing them out in Ireland. They'll go to college, or they'll start a job in their own lives, for sure. Catholicism obviously is going to be the dominant religion there in Ireland as well. And then I added in my report here a list of do's and don'ts that I thought were pretty important, that kept popping up each site I would visit, or things I would look at, things that were just, hey, don't do these in Ireland, or do these in Ireland. And one that just kept popping up was be receptive to humor, because they're going to poke at you. And here we would call it bullying. We would be so offended and we would be so hurt, but they're picking at one another and they're enjoying it. And the people that are getting picked at know that it is not ill intended. They don't have their guard up and their defensive up or defenses up, and they're not being offended by everything. But they're picking at one another. And it did say, if someone teases you, tease back, because it's almost offensive to those folks for you not to poke back at them. And I just think that's great. Keeping a sense of humor about everything is going to be important. The older I've gotten, and the more I've learned in life, you sometimes you just got to laugh. And I really appreciate this course and this year. This final project was fun to read and do. I learned a lot. I hope everyone else did as well. This has been fun. You guys all take care and enjoy 2020.